Welcome. We in here. Welcome to another episode of the Art Life Podcast, where we help you get your art business right. I am your host. I am the Muse, entrepreneur coach, specializing in helping artists monetize their creativity using proven marketing and branding strategies without compromising their art. Today, we're going to talk about an artist's portfolio, right? So the topic is the perfect portfolio. Now, of course, perfect is subjective, so I guess nothing to technically be perfect because to the next person, it won't be. But there's ways where you can have it well received more often than not by following a few general rules. A thing or two might be a little counterintuitive, but we're going to make it all make sense here on this episode. So, of course, first and foremost, shout out to the team and our sponsors at the Pay the Artist Club. Make sure you go to imdmuse.com and check out the Pay the Artist Club. It's our online marketing community where you can grow with like-minded artists looking to not go about this art journey themselves and to come up with proven strategies, have support executing those, have accountability, and actually see some progress from where they started. So make sure you check out imdmuse.com. And if you want to be in the Pay the Artist Club, just shoot me PTA, a message, DM, comment, or whatever, and we can talk about getting you in the club if we have space. A lot of things we do are, hands-on, actionable, and I really don't have the capacity to work with everybody because even though it's a group, it's still a lot of one-on-ones in terms of what's going on directly with you, and obviously you can't have one-on-one for everybody. So make sure you check that out, and if we can help you out, we definitely will. So perfect portfolio. So let's talk about, first and foremost, let's start with types of portfolios, right? It's a lot of artists, and then especially people who are not artists outside of the artist world, assume there's only one type of portfolio or one structure for portfolio, or you would give that portfolio to everybody no matter what it is. They ask for what the project is, what the themes might be, time periods, anything like that. It's just, this is my portfolio. This is just a collection of my work. And here you go. This is anything and everything that I've ever done. It's here. Take a look at, all of this stuff here, and you figure something out and let me know if it works for you. That is not the way to go. So first thing we're going to talk about is types of portfolios. And then we can go into what should not be in your portfolio specifically. And I actually made a reel about that on Instagram. So make sure you check out Instagram.com/imdmuse on Instagram as well. First initial, real last name. And you can get some tips from that too in a concise, condensed situation. So you don't have to listen to this whole podcast to pull that back out again, right? But I ain't gonna keep you here all day. We here for a good time, not a long time. So the first type of portfolio, excuse me, get a quick sip. Thank you. Appreciate your grace. Is an academic portfolio. Now, I know when you hear the term academic, you're probably thinking school has something to do with school. Yes, this is going to be the one that is often used by students and most aspiring artists to showcase their skills and development over time. It's more so called academic because it's about you showing your process, showing that you learned. All right, this is where I was at before. this is where I'm at now, and the growth, so you can kind of give an idea of where you might be heading. So that's why it's called academic, because the learning part of it, not just because you're in school and you're handing that to your teacher or anything like that. Um, it typically includes a range of work across different mediums as well and different styles. Is really showing you dabbling, you practicing, you trying things, not being scared to fail, because that's really where you learn more even than in your successes. So um, that's your academic portfolio. That is not the portfolio you submit really to anybody other than maybe a mentor, maybe a critic, um, a teacher, a professor. Like, that's, you don't submit that academic portfolio to, the gallery you're trying to get in, unless they happen to show interest in really developing you as an artist, not just marketing your artwork to give you a larger share in the art market, because the former definitely entails a lot more work from them. So if they're willing to do that, then cool. If not, don't give them that, because that ain't what they want. And it's just a lot. It's really just a lot to go through. Almost all the time you get an academic portfolio, it's not small. It's a lot of shit. Like, it's a lot of shit. Like, so who doing all that? Not me. So I mean, maybe somebody is, but that's the academic one, right? So then the second one, which is the one that you're gonna most often show people, is your professional portfolio. So that's where an artist, established professionals use to display their best and and most recent work. So this is not going to really span over your entire career, unless there's some notable things in there. Of course, my excuse, maybe there's a piece in there that happened to be in a collection or something now, and you created it a while back or something. Maybe you can include that in there if it makes sense, in conjunction with everything else that you put in there, because maybe it's still as breathtaking, as remarkable that, got it to where it was in the first place anyway, to where somebody see it and make a comment on it. Then you can make that note that, hey, yeah, this is where this is currently is, or this is what this is traversed. This is the wars that this is won. This is, where it's been shown and things like that, to kind of highlight that, to big yourself up a little bit. So it can include, because this is a question I get asked often, can it include pieces that have already been exhibited, pieces that have already been sold? Yes. Yes. 100%. Unless you have somebody who is currently trying to curate a show and they ask to see your portfolio because they want to see what's available that might make sense for what it is that they're doing, then no, you don't want to have any pieces in there that have already been sold, because what's probably going to happen, which is going to be annoying for them, if they pick a few pieces, probably some of those are going to be the ones that you already sold, which is going to mess up the idea that they were creating in their head of how things were going to look, how things were going to come into play, and work with each other. And now some of those pieces aren't even available. So they got to go back to scratch and, figure it out all again. Save them some time and energy and annoyance. Make yourself easier to work with by not doing silly stuff like that. It's like they're shopping essentially, and you showing them stuff that's not available. but you showing it to them like it is, in a size and everything, color they like, fit them just right. It's not available. Take it out the book. If they're shopping for that, if they just want to see your portfolio, you can definitely include exhibited and sold works in your professional portfolio. Next portfolio, your online portfolio. So yes, I guess because, you know, the day and age we live in now, your online portfolio can, I'm reluctant to say this, can be your Instagram or your profile or something with a grid, something that you kind of put up. A website is more both professional and controlled by you, because God forbid any one of these social media platforms go down and you had all this stuff up there, you or nobody else now has access to that. Or you get hacked, and that's even worse, because now you can go and see it, but you can't get back into the accounts. You don't control that. You can't contact any of those people off of that if you don't have any of their contact information, and most likely you haven't been collecting because you're not treating that as is yours. You're on that on borrowed time. You're borrowing all of that. They're not your followers. They're followers of that platform. They just tuned into your channel. So I would recommend have a website or something that you can kind of control, something you can direct traffic over to where you can collect contact information so you can market in perpetuity. That's my recommendation. And not just send any and everybody over to your Instagram. Yes, you should still have that, but there should be some people that you send there and some people that are a little more serious that you send to your website. Excuse me. Particularly because unless you got some type of shop set up, and some platforms do allow that, most of the time they can't buy directly through these platforms anyway. They got to go to, off of the platform or third party site or whatever in order to buy the stuff. You want them getting it from your website. And this way you get the added benefit of the traffic and the clicks and everything, so you can get some advertising dollars in. So even if you end up getting a bunch of visits to your site, but you're having a problem that a lot of artists have when they finally start getting traffic to their site, people are still not buying, you can still benefit from that while you're trying to figure out how to make them buy. How you get them buy? You come and see me later, right? But right now we're going to stick to the task on hand. Make sure your online portfolio has high quality images. It's a little generic. I know you probably heard that before, but duh. Make sure it's high quality images. Have artist statements in there, or accessible, clickable. Could be in. Would I put them in a separate tab? Probably not, because then what you're gonna have, like a whole bunch of different artist statements, or just one statement you're putting over there, a blanket statement. But often I recommend my artists do statements for themes or collections or time periods, or you can definitely have your kind of overall artist statement, but you need other statements beyond that, which is a whole nother podcast episode as well. Different types of artist statements, what goes in what, how long they should be, different types, when you're going to use when. We'll talk about that another time as well. Right now, we're on different types of portfolios. So that's your online portfolio, right? Then you have your theme-based portfolios. These, you probably end up having well, depends on how many different themes you create towards. Even if you're artists that does whatever, whenever type of thing, at least in the feelings that the pieces give you, you can categorize things to kind of organize them a little bit, right? Be organized, get professional, like tighten this shit up. Like, when the curator comes to you and they're like, I have this type of show going on, this is the theme, this is when you hit them, wow, got you. Got a collection of images to show you that are specific to this thing. They're about this thing, bam, they compliment this thing, whatever it is, and I got you. Oh, okay, you doing this other show about this over here? Oh, this one is about nature, bam, I got that as well. So now, as I'm creating things, I'm putting things in folders under themes. Or, having them print out, and I have little lookbooks or catalogs or whatever, and I'm sliding them under themes. Each little book is a separate theme. And I'm organizing them that way. It makes it easier. So if anybody say, I need something that has to do with this, bam, I know exactly where I can go and find a bunch of stuff that falls in that category. Because I've created themed portfolios. And from a curator's, standpoint, I love it when artists are organized like that. Because I can come up with a show about whatever, right? And then now I need something to help me tell these stories, or something to, make this make sense, make this vision get out of my head and, manifest. Way easier. So quick recap, we did talked about the academic portfolio, talked about the professional portfolio, talked about the online portfolio. And then the last type of portfolio I want to talk about is the curatorial portfolio. So now this changes our position up slightly, makes us the administrator. And you can be slash, you can be the administrator and the artist, or the artist administrator, as I like to call him myself, right? But if you're want to showcase your work in organizing exhibitions, this is where you would have, okay, I did this theme. These are all the pieces, and it's going to be usually from multiple artists that I included in this show. I had this space, this I activated, this space. So these are the type of, installations or, activations that we're doing, and have that separated like that. So, it shows organization. It shows the ability to write about art, the ability to tell stories with art. You tell your reach, your influence on artists around you, and your connectivity to the artists, the arts, and our community. It can definitely include exhibition proposals that you've written in the past, essays, any documentations of past projects, essentially, to get you more gigs. And it's easier actually coming in as a curator saying, hey, I have this show I want to put together, and you kind of got this whole idea already mapped out, and you just proposing that to the space owner, the space holder, I know as a gallerist myself, was almost always ecstatic when a capable curator came across and wanted to do a show. So I'm like, all right, great. That's X amount of time that I don't have to worry about what's going on. I don't have to put something together. Like, you just made my job easier. And you're going to expose my space and potentially my artists, because maybe I can slide some of them in as well too with what you got going on. It's not always the case, but either way, introduce more people to the space that wouldn't have known about it otherwise, because they just weren't in my network, or it might have took longer for them to kind of be invited or figure it out or come across, whatever the case may be. It happens faster because there's more people talking about it now. So I love that when anything like that happened. The I don't know, maybe close to a dozen times in the 8 years or so that I've been doing my thing. Definitely love it. The weight off my shoulders gives me an opportunity to kind of just sit back and be a fan and observe and watch and learn and enjoy. So you put those together, and that'll help you get your art into more places, because you can come with that, and then your art is one of the, you're one of the artists that's a part of it. So now you find yourself at more shows. Your CV is building up from both ends, from the curatorial CV and from your exhibition CV as well too. And you're making more waves in this art world thing, right? So that's part one of this portfolio thing. We can kind of talk all day about a bunch of aspects of art and everything. But I wanted to talk about your types of portfolios first and foremost, and this perfect portfolio talk. So this was part one. Make sure you tune in to the next episode of the Art Life Podcast to catch part two. And then that's when we'll be going into what should not be in your portfolio, and also tips for a perfect portfolio. We'll hit both of those portions in the next part. So thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you being here. Tell a friend and tell a friend about this. Motivate me to get out of here and keep going. Any questions, comments, concerns you have as well, make sure you send those in. If you visit me on the gram, definitely just DM me. Question that you have, I'll get around to getting it on here and answering that as a topic, or at least a point. So thank you for tuning in. This is D Muse, Pay the Artist. Peace.